Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to Cars and Conversation. And the second part with Zamba, we are in the Mini Austin. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah.
This car itself, in the car world, it's an icon, honestly speaking. And itself, আমরা দেখলাম যে অনেক বছর থেকে এই গাড়িটা সবাই একটা it holds a charm which is often very hard to beat. So far যদি গাড়িটা নিয়ে একটা small intro দিতে পারেন.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks for having me and making the time.
No issues at all.
So this is a 1962-63 Austin Mini. The Mini sort of nomenclature is very difficult. It's kind of all over the place. It's in between 62 63, something like that.
Okay.
So, as you said, I always wanted this car. Like, this was my top 3 car, growing up.
Nice.
And, in Bangladesh, it's hard to sort of acquire these kind of cars, and there's not many around.
Right.
So, yeah, I was looking for this car for maybe, close to 10, actually, like, ever since I was a child. If I could find one, I would convince my dad at the time. But I never found one. But thankfully, when I eventually found one, I could get it myself. So
awesome.
I got it around maybe 8 years ago. So this is 2025. Yeah. So maybe, actually no, I got it 10 years ago, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it was in storage for a while.
Okay.
While I sort of gathered the funds and the resources to start the restoration process.
Okay.
And yeah, started restoring in 2023. And finished the car at its current state in 24. Yeah.
So it was almost a year or more than a year, approximately.
Yeah, approximately a year. Yeah, which is quite quick for this kind of restoration.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because this was a full, bare body, full-on restoration. So it was quite quick for this kind of a car.
Agreed.
But yeah, it's turned out really well. I think you'll see some B-roll at some stage. But yeah, it turned out well. I think I'm proud of this one.
As well, and honestly, it drives fantastic as well, because in case of a lot of other restored cars, they're always kept in the house and not driven.
Yeah.
But in this case, like you mentioned, the car actually drives and rides fantastic for what it is. And also, the car easy to restore, or was it difficult to restore?
Look, this is my. So I've obviously gained a lot of skills over time. So this is probably my, I don't know, 6th or 7th restoration.
Okay.
So overall, yeah. I've got 5 cars in the collection now in Bangladesh, but it's probably my 7th or 8th, something like that. In terms of restoring process. So I went with approach, I think, which works well in Bangladesh, just because of the scarcity of parts and all that sort of stuff. So I bought a car in Japan, which is actually interesting because this is a Mark 1 Mini, but as a 60s car. But these are extremely valuable overseas and anywhere in the world, right? Because as you said, it's a collector car. So I got actually in 2000 years, which is the last year of production for this shape, before they shifted to the BMW modern Mini.
The Mini Cooper,
yeah, the Mini Cooper, right? So I got a 2000 year car in Japan, which is essentially a Rover Mini.
Right.
And then I basically got a full half-cut CKD, whatever you call it, into the country. And then I sort of transplanted all the parts to the base car that was here.
Right.
Reason for that is multiple things. Firstly is just the parts. You get everything in one hit. You don't have to. Importation is difficult here. Taxation is difficult here. All that sort of. Yeah, exactly. And the time frame. So
exactly,
you get everything in once, and you bring the parts in. Secondly, I wanted to kind of modernize the car, just because I have many cars that have carburetors, and
Right, right.
it's hard to maintain them
It is,
here
it is,
because
agree.
it's the skill set is hard, slowly getting lost in terms of maintaining cars.
Agreed, yes.
So this is a fuel injected car, which is much simpler. The technology is like the early Toyota Corollas and things like that. So it's
And
hard.
also easier
It's
to work
easier
on.
to maintain. Yeah, it's a lot easier to maintain. So
Yeah.
that was the reason.
Right, understandable. And how's your experience so far with the car?
Look, it's great. I mean, this is the first time. So this winter is the first time I'm seeing the car. As you know, I live overseas.
Yeah.
No, it's been really good. As expected. Drives really well. Looks the part. Everyone looks the car. So I think those things are definitely tick. And I think, yeah, as I said, just modernizing the car slightly. It's all original. There's no like Toyota parts or anything like that. But it just is easier to drive. It's got air conditioning, so even in the summer, obviously the original car didn't have air conditioning.
Right.
So it's just bringing it up to a level that you can use it. I wanted a car which, since I don't live here, that my friends and family can use while I'm away, because it just keeps the car better.
Right,
So
understood.
that's the process. So you can see people are staring from other
Yeah,
cars.
other cars and they're taking pictures and whatnot, because the way it looks and everyone knows the car for it being a classic car, and also it was the Mr.Bean car. as well.
Exactly, yeah. So, many
everyone
sort
has
of,
that.
I guess, media references. So Mr. Bean was obviously the Austin, that's the 850cc version,
Okay.
which is like the base version. And then obviously Italian Job. Another
yes, exactly.
Major reference
Yes.
to both the Italian Job movies. Obviously had the minis, but also in terms of just I guess automotive history. It's always, there's multiple sort of lists and rankings of influential cars, but this car, the Volkswagen Beetle and Land Rover Defender, these three are in all the lists in the top three.
Right.
So it's like, regardless of what source you follow,
Right.
these are some of the most influential cars in automotive history.
Ever made.
So it's really good to have that part of history in the collection.
Absolutely.
And as I said, this was the car I always wanted to get. Very hard to get in Bangladesh, but thankfully managed. And there's a few of us in the enthusiast community that now has this car, and they're all running, so it's great. Great to see them in the scene.
Mashallah. The other point I wanted to add was that it was used for racing as well in UK and
many,
Australia.
Yes, many racing series, events. Rally, Monte Carlo Rally, the famous Monte Carlo Rally. It won, I think, in 66, 67.
Okay.
Yes, a very robust platform.
Absolutely.
As very, very tiny, but as you can see, there's still enough space.
Yeah,
so the packaging is genius packaging. From the company back in the day.
Yeah. And in general, as you mentioned, it's a restored car. So is the fuel servicing and maintenance easy, or is it difficult?
Look, I wouldn't say it's easy, but I also wouldn't classify it as difficult.
Okay.
Just because, like, you just need to have the right sort of, I guess, importation route to get things in.
Right.
Parts are, the good thing is the parts are readily available pretty much anywhere else. So that makes it easy. I live overseas as well, so I can sort of plan ahead and get the parts in, send with friends and family and whatnot. But yeah, it's fairly easy, fairly simple setup. Sort of fuel injected setup.
Right.
So it it runs well. Another thing I missed to point out was, so during the conversion process, I actually, or during the update process, I actually updated the engine to the 1.3 liter variant, which is the Cooper S variant.
Cooper S, understand.
So it's got basically the max power output from factory, as you can have on this car. So if the roads are good.
It runs fantastic.
Yeah, and it's very engaging. Like, even at legal speeds, you feel you feel engaged, right? So it's a very
Fantastic.
engaging car. Just drives. That's legal speed. You're not gonna get into trouble for this kind of speeds.
Exactly.
So it runs well. You can have a lot of fun with this. Like with this car.
Absolutely.
Especially in traffic.
Traffic as
it's
well.
tiny.
Exactly. I feel like in Dhaka city, when like in peak traffic,
Yeah.
this car and the size of it is quite handy.
Yeah.
You can go around.
Maneuver
a
very
lot of
easily.
traffic flows and stuff.
Kind of don't have to think much. It just fits.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. So it's, like even take the turn. So you just you throw it. Unfortunately, the roads here are not great. So that's the other thing. But it sort of fits in anywhere.
Unrivaled quality. Journey with confidence. Mobil.
And in general, আমরা একটা segment করে in the channel we talk about 3 pros and 3 cons. So আপনি যদি আপনার পান্ডবী থেকে 3টা pro আর 3টা cons share করতে পারেন about the car.
I'll start with the cons.
Sure.
So I think because of the scarcity, the parts are, if you need something that's overnight and urgent, you kind of have to wait until you get the parts. So the scarcity is plays in that, and also the people. Not everyone can work on these cars, so you kind of have to go to the right place.
Right.
They might have a long lead time until they can start on your car, so you kind of have to be patient. That's the main thing.
Okay.
What was the other question?
3 pros.
Oh, the 3 pros. I think there's many pros.
Plenty of
I think
pros.
the first thing is, like, as I said before in the video, it's a classic that is recognized globally,
Right.
not only here in Bangladesh. It's definitely really sort of striking looking car, out of the ordinary. So the aesthetics is definitely another pro. And I think it's really fun to drive. Like, the driving experience is pretty much unlike anything else because of the size and the sort of ground clearance and how low you sit to the ground. And it's got ample power. So I think the driving experience is really unique.
Any future plans with the car?
Future plans is just to maintain it. I think the car is done. Just to maintain it in its state. There will be some anomalies along the way, but just maintain it in its current form, and pass it down to the next generation.
Inshallah.
That's the plan, inshallah.
Albert, the other factor I wanted to add was the spec is actually quite nice. The spec.
Yes, yeah. So it's an original
Very
color
rare.
combination.
Okay.
The car was red before.
Acha.
But this paint scheme is called ice blue. So it's a mini original paint color
Okay, honors.
code, and the interior is cricket ball red. So that's also a original mini.
Spec.
It's a very British, like the Bentleys and Rolls
Yeah.
Royces also have that
The
red
Bentleys
sort
have
of
this
red color. So the interior, we are very lucky in Bangladesh. In some instances, we got like all the leather manufacturing
Right.
factories. So I got the leather custom made for this car because I wanted that sort of darker red.
Right,
All
right.
the ready-made ones were sort of
Too
a bit
bright.
more of a brighter red.
Very khaki and bright.
So that came out well. But yeah, the color scheme I was set on pretty early in the restoration process, and we can show you some details around the car.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe now.
Sure.
So everything sort of in the front end, like the chrome parts and stuff are new, because like over the years we've learned, and some of the other enthusiasts also learned that like the chrome parts are really difficult to redo here. The finishing is not really great.
Yeah.
So you got new chrome parts everywhere, although it's not the cleanest today. All new badges, basically like all the trims basically are new. And then the paint was pretty much full bare body, so we stripped it down to bare metal and restart the process. The wheels are the iconic mini light wheels
Mini light.
for these cars in 13 inch, I think. Yeah, got the mirrors over here. the front headlamps, like the OEM headlamps are really, the power output is not that great.
Not good.
So it is a PIAA sort of, I guess, OEM plus / aftermarket kind of thing.
Sort of.
What else? White roof, again, that's very traditional Mini in terms of the color scheme. And yeah, over to the rear, new badges, new chrome work, new tail lamps.
Fantastic.
And then mechanically, everything's been either updated or overhauled or new. So new exhaust system, all the brakes and stuff. Pretty much, whatever needed changing is new, and whatever sort of we can retain from the donor car in Japan, we retained.
Nice.
So if you go to the interior, as you can see, they're fully reupholstered in sort of this dark red, a burnt red. Use genuine leather. It's only the second time I'm using genuine leather on the interior, only because as I said, I wanted the specific color, and it wasn't available in. Actually, the manufactured leather works better in our country because of the moisture and humidity. Genuine leather is a bit more difficult to maintain. And the dash, as you can see, because I updated the car mechanically, the dash needed to be updated
as well.
For the electrics to work.
Right.
Because the electrics totally different from 1966 to the last generation of this model. Manual transmission, updated the steering wheel to an RD sort of wooden wheel. It's smaller as well in size, easier. And that's about it. Just wanted to retain the originality. That's the main focus. But it's hard to retain because of all the trim bits come off over the years. So it's like just maintaining it originality is probably the harder part.
Okay, but thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for your time.
Had an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for making the effort.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
No
Thanks.
problem. Thank you so much.